We are getting ready to head back to school this morning with Dr. Amy Sleddy of UP Health System, a pediatrician and over in pediatrics. And we want to talk about a number of things that we as parents should be doing right now to set ourselves and our students up for a successful year. So let's talk about that. Most schools are 2 to 3 weeks out at this point. So what are some things that we should have on our radar or start implementing right now?
So now is a good time to get in for your child's checkup. We recommend well child visits every year. So if it's been over a year, it's a good chance to get in, get that done. Just kind of ask any questions you might have about your child's health, mental health, physical health. We'll do some screenings, do some assessments, check in for depression, anxiety. Really good chance to make sure they're up to date with their immunizations.
Sure.
Kids turning 4, 11, and 16, they're typically due for some shots. So a good chance to get those done. We can sign the sports forms.
Sure.
Those were all due, I think, yesterday. So
okay.
We can get those done. Any camp forms for next year as well.
Okay. And of course, sleep is a big issue when we're talking about transitioning from summer to the school year. During the summer, I don't know how it is at your house, but at my house, I don't really have any sleep rules, so it gets a little wild. But that routine is so healthy and so important. Should we start that routine now, or is it okay to wait?
It'd probably be good to go ahead and start working on that now, because there's probably going to be some trial and error, some setbacks. If you have the opportunity to make that process gradual, you just start getting kids up about 15 to 30 minutes earlier each morning.
Okay.
You know, getting in bed then 15 to 30 minutes earlier at nighttime. But if you don't have a parent, somebody else at home to make sure that happens, you may just have to, you know, go all in and kind of one fell swoop, start getting them up, you know, 15 to 30 minutes within their typical wake up time, getting them to bed, you know, much earlier. Kids really need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Those teenagers closer to 9 to 10 hours.
Okay.
It's going to be a rough go if you have to go one fell swoop, but way better to do that now than trying to struggle that first week of school with those changes.
And I feel like a good habit to get into is to shut down those electronics before bed as well.
Yeah, it's a good chance to instill all those good sleep hygiene measures. So for sure, off electronics a good hour before bed. Make sure the room's really dark. You know, get the TV out of the bedroom.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good chance to make some of those good changes again.
And let's talk a little bit about our kids' mental health, because the emotional piece of going back to school for some students can be challenging, whether it's their first year or their last year. There's all kinds of a wide range of emotions. So what do parents need to know? How do we check in with our kids, and how do we ensure that they're okay on the inside, those pieces we can't see?
Right. So trying to, you know, get good sleep, you know, making sure you know, kids are not spending all their time in front of electronics. Those are good for their mental health. But even just checking in, you know, each day, just having that chance to ask some simple questions, you know, and maybe you might need to be more specific instead of just a general, how was your day? And you just get a, you know, trying to ask something more specific. If you know there was a test that day or a project, or you know there's something going on in one of their sports or activities, trying to get something more specific from them can be helpful.
Sure.
And then that way, hopefully, if there's something bigger going on, they feel a little more comfortable, maybe adjusting that. It's not such a big leap. And then there's resources in the school too, for sure, if you have concerns, to reach out.
Making sure they know your door is always open. Yeah. And I know you're a big proponent of reading to your children. Why is that so important? Why should we be reading to our kids?
Right. So it's fun.
Yes.
It's super fun. You know, whether they're like, you know, a 1-year-old or even a 13-year-old, reading out loud with your child is just a lot of fun. It can be really relaxing. But early on, you know, in books, kids are hearing all sorts of words they're not going to hear just in regular, normal day-to-day conversations. So that really helps to build their vocabulary. It's a good chance to bond. And then there's some cool studies using functional MRIs that showed that kids that were read to pretty consistently when they were little, when they go to school and start to learn to read, those centers in the brain that light up when we're doing something fun, light up when they're learning to read. So that's just cool.
Yeah,
but yeah, don't stop when they just start school. Keep reading too. It's just a good chance again to have a conversation about things you might not otherwise touch base about.
But stop reading when it's bedtime, because I struggle with staying up too late reading books, so maybe I don't have the best habit with reading. I got to put some limitations to it. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in, and if you do need to find a provider, we'll put this link and phone number on our website, and so you can connect and make sure you get your student headed in the right direction for the school year.